Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the I-5 North County Enhancements Construction Update meeting. We will start very briefly. We're just going to let a few more people finish trickling in. So I'll just give it another minute or so before we start our actual meeting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. Thank you guys once again for joining us tonight for the I-5 North County Enhancement Project Construction Update Community Meeting. My name is Soraya Sandiford. I am the Community Relations Manager for the project here at Metro. We really appreciate you taking the time to spend your evening with us and stay engaged on the process and progress that is happening throughout our project corridor. Next slide, please. As many of you know, the I-5 North County Enhancement Project is a major investment in improving mobility, safety, and traffic flow throughout the Santa Clarita Valley and northern Los Angeles County communities. This project stretches from the SR-14 interchange all the way to Parker Road in Castaic, and it includes a bunch of enhancements to improve our project corridor. And in tonight's presentation, we'll mainly focus on the active construction, some upcoming traffic impacts, and so everybody has a clear understanding of what to expect over the next several months. Next slide, please. Before we begin, I would like to say thank you to the community for your continued patience throughout construction. We are quickly approaching our 5th year in construction, and we understand that overnight closures, detours, traffic shifts, ongoing construction activities can be disruptive at times, and we truly do appreciate the flexibility and the support we continue to receive from the residents, business, commuters, and our local agency partners. Next slide, please. And before we jump into tonight's presentation and updates, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. So first, this meeting is being held in a webinar format. So that means that attendees, your cameras and your microphones will remain off and muted. If you do have any questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. We'll collect questions throughout the meeting and answer as many as we can during the discussion portion, the end. And finally, this meeting is being recorded, and the full video and presentation will be posted on our project website, metro.net/I-5-enhancements for everyone who would like to revisit the presentation later or share it with others. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to give you a quick overview of tonight's agenda. So we'll begin with Metro agency updates and a brief project overview from Chloe. And then Cynthia and I will walk you through the incoming construction activities, including some bridge work, some traffic shifts, some ramp closures, sound wall progress, and some future freeway closures that are anticipated to take place later on in the year. And then after we wrap up the presentation portion, we'll open it up to our live Q&A and discussion section that will be facilitated by Chloe. Next slide, please. And now I will pass it to Chloe to begin the Q&A portion. I mean, to begin the Metro update portion. I apologize.
Thank you, Soraya, and good evening, everyone. As she mentioned, I'm Chloe Lee, and I'm the Principal Community Relations Officer on the project. And I'm going to start us off this evening with a few Metro agency updates, and then I'll jump us into the project overview. So if you can go to the next slide, please. We are going to first start off with some key support services here. So we have these available for immigrants, keeping in mind that regardless of status, we're all entitled to basic rights and protections under the law. So some of the resources that we have here include free or low-cost legal services, language accessible assistance, resources for navigating immigration issues, and protection from fraud, discrimination, and abuse. And all of these resources and more information on them can be accessed at oia.lacounty.gov. So yeah, you can visit that if you need them. Next slide, please. Next up, with summer season around the corner, Metro is helping riders stay safe during the extreme heat through what we call the Beat the Heat campaign. So before your next trip, taking the bus or the train, you can use what we call our Heat Awareness Guidebook to find cooling stations, hydration resources, heat safety tips, and information about signing up for weather alerts. This guide is especially helpful if you're riding during the hottest part of the day, if you're transferring between a bus and a train, attending a major event, or traveling with children, older adults, or anyone that's sensitive to the heat. So you can get this guidebook by scanning the QR code on the screen. If you aren't able to scan the QR code on the screen, we are going to do our best to get the link in the chat box for you guys. And keep in mind that this information is available in multiple languages using the Pages translation feature. And with that, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is a good way to stay connected with for Metro updates. There's quite a few resources, obviously starting with our website, which is metro.net. But we also have emails that go out. One is called the Friday email, self-explanatory. You get it weekly every Friday, and the other one is the newsletter that goes out monthly, and it's a more comprehensive email newsletter, if you will. But either way, these resources allow you to stay connected with Metro updates, get rider alerts as well as service changes, and have resources that can help you plan ahead when you're taking the bus or the train. For things like this as well, you're going to be able to stay ahead of the game and know when there's going to be community meetings, and also have project updates across the region on all of our projects. Next slide, please. Okay, so the project overview. Many of you guys may be familiar with this by this point, but Santa Clarita is now the third largest city in LA County and is expected to increase its population by more than 25,000 people by 2035. So in order to prepare for this increase and relieve congestion in the Santa Clarita Valley, Metro and Caltrans District 7 partnered together to make operational and safety enhancements along the 5 freeway, which Soraya mentioned is in the northern county of LA, in northern LA, and it's between the SR 14 and just south of Parker Road in Castaic. So on the next slide here, you'll see the enhancements for the project include 14 miles of HOV, otherwise known as carpool lanes, in both directions, 4 sound wall segments, the replacement of the Weldon Canyon Road Bridge, 7 bridge extensions, the extension of truck lanes, 13.6 miles of median paving, 43 retaining walls, and safe improvements to the intelligent transportation system. Next slide, please. Okay, so diving deeper into those sound wall segments, there are 4 of them, but that totals 12 sound walls. And so the 2 segments on the southbound side are north of Hasley Canyon Road and between Magic Mountain Parkway and Valencia Boulevard. And the 2 segments on the northbound side are south of McBean Parkway and north of Calgrove Boulevard. And we are happy to announce that all of these sound walls are either complete or under construction currently. So big things happening here. Next slide, please. As for our preliminary conceptual schedule, we are now in Q2 of 2026. So you'll see we're just at the tail end of stage 1. The remaining activities that you'll see here are HOV lanes, wall, and sound walls. That's what's left for stage 1. And then stage 2 consists of auxiliary lanes and ramps. And then we will officially be overlapping with stage 3, which includes exterior retaining walls. And we are set to be done with this project by March of 2027. Next slide, please. Okay, perfect. So that's all for me right now, and I'm going to pass it back to Soraya to kick us off for the construction update.
Awesome. Thank you, Chloe. So now let's transition. Next slide, please. Great. So now let's transition into the construction update portion of this presentation. So this slide gives you a high-level overview of some major work activities currently happening throughout the project corridor and continuing into 2026. It's divided into our three main sections that our crews are working on: bridge, walls, shoulders, and ramps. On the bridge side, work continues at several key structures, including Walden Canyon Road overcrossing, Gavin Canyon undercrossing bridge, Rye Canyon Road Bridge, and Magic Mountain Parkway Bridge. These structures are all critical components needed to support the future HOV carpool lane system. We are very excited to share that all of the major bridge segments across the corridor are anticipated to be completed by the fall of 2026. So this year, marking a major milestone for the project overall and allowing our crews to transition further into that final stages of construction. So final roadway striping and then the finishing activities. For our retaining wall and sound wall segments, crews are currently working between Magic Mountain Parkway and Biscaloosh Drive, also along the northbound truck route and throughout several sound wall segments between Magic Mountain Parkway and Cowgrove Boulevard. And then overall, on our shoulders and ramps project wide, our crews are continuing roadway reconstruction, drainage improvements, signage installation, barrier work, lighting system work, ramp metering, infrastructure, and fiber installations. So while drivers may experience construction in different areas throughout our corridor, all of these activities are happening simultaneously to help move us towards overall completion um, in spring of 2027. Next slide. And now I'm going to pass it to Cynthia to continue the construction update portion.
Thanks, Soraya. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Unsueta, and I am the Communications Manager for OHLA USA. In this portion of the presentation, I will be discussing key developments as well as upcoming work we can expect to see for the project in the coming months into next year. So I'll begin with the Gavin Canyon Undercrossing Bridge. This I-5 bridge crosses over the old road between Cowgrove Boulevard and Walden Canyon. Walden Canyon Road. The team is currently performing concrete barrier work and joint seal replacement at the bridge. Because of this work, traffic control and intermittent closures along the old road will remain in place through summer 2026. Work is taking place through Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. with Saturday work scheduled as needed from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. The image shown here was taken in March of this year, and it highlights ongoing construction activities at the Gavin Canyon Bridge segment. Next slide, please. Next, we have the Magic Mountain Parkway Bridge. This I-5 bridge crosses over Magic Mountain Parkway between the Old Road and Turney Road. The bridge extension at this location was completed in February 2026. Current work includes crash sidewalk construction and roadway restriping. We have nightly intermittent closures along Magic Mountain Parkway between the Old Road and Turney Road, and those will continue through fall of 2026. Work is taking place during weeknights and with Saturday work scheduled as needed from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. The image here was taken in March of this year, and it highlights ongoing construction activities at the Magic Mountain Parkway Bridge segment. Next slide. Great. Next is the Rye Canyon Road Bridge, and this bridge is located between the Old Road and Avenue Stanford. Current construction activities include drainage work, slope paving, abutment work, sidewalk construction, and restriping. Intermittent closures along Rye Canyon Road will continue through summer of this year. Work is also taking place Monday through Friday with Saturday work scheduled as needed from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And the closure limits include both eastbound and westbound Rye Canyon Road between Avenue Stanford and the Old Road. And this image here was taken as well in March of this year. It also highlights ongoing construction at this bridge segment. Next slide. Okay. Now I will review the outside shoulder extension and retaining wall work near Magic Mountain Parkway and Biscaloosh Drive. The project team has completed all major concrete work for the retaining walls. At this stage, only minor activities remain for two retaining walls along southbound I-5. And in these images here, they were taken in February of this year, and they highlight the northbound retaining wall construction activities as crews continue final work in the area. Next slide. All right, sound wall construction. So this is an update on sound wall construction activities along northbound and southbound I-5, beginning with the Castaic sound wall located between Hasley Canyon Road and Villa Canyon Road. Crews are currently performing roadway and paving work. Activities at this location are anticipated to continue through July 2026. And then moving to the Valencia sound wall, this wall is located between Valencia Boulevard and Magic Mountain Parkway. Crews are installing transparent panels along the sound wall, and this work is anticipated to be completed by the end of summer 2026. And finally, we have the Cowgrove sound wall located between Cowgrove Boulevard and Lyons Avenue. Here, the crews are continuing scaffolding operations, block wall installation, and paving activities. Work at this location is also anticipated to be completed by the end of summer 2026. And these images shown here were taken between January and March 2026 of this year. And they highlight construction activities at the Castaic, Valencia Boulevard, and Cowgrove Boulevard soundwall segments as crews continue work in the area. And that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'll hand it back over to Soroya to walk us through additional details and the ongoing and upcoming activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. As you guys can see, our crews have been very active throughout the project corridor. Like I mentioned earlier, we're hitting a lot of major significant milestones that we are very happy and pleased to share with you guys. So now we're going to move into talking about some upcoming and ongoing stage two construction activities that will have the most visible impact to drivers over the coming months. So I'm starting off with at the southbound Valencia off-ramp area, our crews did implement a long-term traffic shift and lane reconfiguration. This work included removing existing striping, installing new striping, and adjusting concrete barriers to safely support the next phase of that outside shoulder and auxiliary lane construction. This lane configuration is anticipated to remain in place until October of this year, with intermittent nighttime closures occurring between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. as our crews complete the restriping and the barrier adjustments. Next slide, please. So in addition to that traffic shift that happened at that Valencia Boulevard on ramp, we do have several additional traffic shifts that are planned throughout the summer of 2026. So those coming locations include the southbound SR 126 on ramp, so going eastbound, the southbound Rye Canyon off ramp, the northbound truck scales, and then finally the southbound Hasley Canyon off ramp. So our first three, we do anticipate that those are going to be taking place next month, so June of 2026, and then that southbound Hasley Canyon Road off ramp happening in August of 2026. Similar to the previous traffic shift at Valencia, these activities will involve removing that existing striping, placing new striping, repositioning these barriers to kind of safely transition traffic into these new configurations. And then as each shift does approach, the project team, the community relation team will be sure to execute outreach plans that include putting up those changeable message signage and also doing community notifications to help drivers navigate these new shifts, these new traffic patterns ahead of time. Next slide, please. And then one of our major long-term closures that recently was completed was at the northbound Hasley Canyon on-ramp. So this was a long-term closure that began around April 20th of this year, and it was successfully completed in mid-May. So this allowed our crews to safely perform at roadway excavation, paving, electric work, and guardrail installation within our construction schedule and our anticipated timeline. I'm happy to report that northbound Hasley on-ramp is now reopened to the public. This ramp improvement represents the fifth ramp completed as a part the project scope of work, because we have a total of ramp enhancements that we are doing throughout the project corridor. Because this was a full long-term closure, the project team did implement extensive outreach efforts to inform the community of what was going to be happening. And happy to say that that went well. And during the construction, we did detour drivers onto the old road, back onto down to Lake Hughes to get back onto the 5. And just wanted to say thank you. We do appreciate the community's patience throughout all these closures and cooperation from the residents that live in that area, the commuters that take this freeway, often the local businesses, and our agency partners, as we do go ahead and complete kind of these big long-term closures from through the beginning of the project to the ending of the project. Next slide, please. And then another major upcoming activity that is anticipated to be another long-term closure will be taking place at Town Grove Boulevard. We do anticipate that this closure will begin in July of 2026. So next month, similar to that Hadley Canyon closure, we will be completing that roadway excavation, paving, electric improvements, and guardrail installation, which is associated with that stage 2 construction. This closure will remain in place, similar to the one at Hasley, 24 hours, 24/7, closed to the public while our crews are performing the ramp enhancement. During this time, we will be detouring traffic onto Wiley Canyon Road to go up to Lyons Avenue, Pico Canyon Road to get back onto the North 5. And again, ahead of this closure, me and my team will make sure to inform the public when this is happening, so you guys will be able to plan and stay ahead of the schedule, so you guys know, exactly when it's happening and for how long it's going to happen for. Next slide, please. And then looking way ahead into August, we will be performing our um, another long-term closure that will be happening on southbound Leslie Canyon Road, Sedona Way on ramp. So again, this ramp will be closed for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So completely closed for the public while we perform work similar to what we have been doing on our Fort Boulevard ramp enhancements. During this time, we will be detouring traffic onto the old road to get on to the northbound Hasley Canyon hook on ramp. Next slide, please. And then finally, I want to touch on some larger scale freeway closures anticipated to take place later in the year. So beginning around September of 2026, going into continuing into early 2027, our crews will conduct permanent overhead signage installation throughout the corridor. So if you guys remember back at the beginning of the project, teams removed all of the original overhead signage, and installed temporary orange signage that drivers had saw throughout our project corridor for the last few years. And now, as we're moving closer towards the ending of the project and we're entering the final stages of constructions, our crews have begun and will continue installing that new permanent overhead signage that will support the completed new freeway configuration and that HOV carpool lane system. So these activities will require full overnight closures in both the northbound and southbound direction. So depending on where we're installing the sign, we will be taking either a northbound directional closure or a southbound directional closures during selected nights to safely install those overhead sign structures and those sign panels. So additionally, we will be doing joint sill replacement work at the Gap and Canyon undercrossing bridge, and that is anticipated to require full 2 to 3 night freeway closures near Weldon Canyon Road and Road Boulevard. And we understand that full freeway closures do create significant general impacts. So that's why, we will be doing extensive coordination beforehand with our project partners and also making sure that you all are informed and, you guys know what's going to happen way above, way before those closures are in place. And then also making sure we're coordinating with, the wayfinding systems to make sure that our closures do show up on the nights when we do take these larger closures. And that's it for this one. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to send it back to Chloe to wrap us up.
Thank you, Soraya. So she kind of hinted at this just now, but of course, with closures, we need to make sure that you guys are aware. So we have wayfinding signage, and we coordinate with third parties as well. So we have what we call CMS boards throughout our corridor that provide detour wayfinding for you guys, and those are per Caltrans standard requirements. So you'll see some examples here on the slide. And we do coordinate with the wayfinding apps, so such as Google Maps and Waze, so that way they're able to show the closures when you guys are utilizing them during your commute. And we also coordinate with emergency responders, so they're prepared as well when they are on the job. Next slide, please. So as for our mitigation efforts, we do have noise monitoring and mitigation. We have a noise control plan that's administered by a quality acoustical engineer. So we have noise monitoring, reporting, and mitigation required if the noise is ever exceeded from the Metro and Caltrans criteria. And we also have sensitive noise receptors that are used to monitor and make sure that we're within permit levels. Next slide, please. We also have dust mitigation as well. So we have our mitigation and storm water management plan. It's administered by environmental engineers, and some typical mitigations that we have include water trucks for dust, slope erosion control, track out control, reduced vehicle speeds. This is both for you guys, our commuters, and for our construction vehicles. And we also cover inactive stockpiles, and we have a storm drain protection plan as well. And we also coordinate our complaints from you guys, so inquiries and complaints from you guys. We heavily rely on you guys. You guys are on the road. And so we rely on you guys to send us anything that you see that might be off. The summer months are coming. There's a lot of dust sometimes. So if you guys feel that there needs to be a water truck in an area, feel free to contact us, and we make sure that we keep these plans in place. Next slide, please. So this is our upcoming holiday schedule. So we will not be implementing any freeway closures for our construction, both for we did not for Memorial Day, which is now in the past, my apologies, from May 22nd through the 26th. And for 4th of July, Independence Day, we will also not be enforcing any closures, and that will be from Thursday, July 2nd through Monday, July 6th. Those are the two holidays that we've had recently that we will not be enforcing closures for. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a big one. Our construction zone is a 55 or enforces a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. That's corridor wide, so 14 miles. And some tips that you guys can follow are staying alert, merging early, avoiding distractions, and not speeding. And this is for your safety and for the safety of our crews as well. Next slide, please. Okay, I think I'm actually going to pass it back to Soraya really quickly before we jump into the Q&A.
Few more slides and we'll get to your questions. So before we wrap up, we would like to invite everyone to attend our next virtual construction update community meeting. So it's scheduled for Wednesday, August 26th of 2026, 6 p.m. So we'll continue sharing updates on construction progress, those significant milestones that we continue to hit, any upcoming traffic impacts, and like I said, those major milestones, we get closer towards the completion of this project. Next slide, please. And if you have any questions after tonight's meeting or would like any additional information, please feel free to reach out to the project team directly. You can reach out to me, Soraya Sandiford, Sandy Ford S at metro.net, or Chloe Lee at VC5 at metro.net. You can also call the project hotline email the project inbox, visit the project website, or join our Metro Northern LA Facebook group to get ongoing updates and closure information. So, one of the best ways to stay up to date would be to join our email list. Like we said, we share all of our closure information there. That's probably one of the best ways to stay on up to date on what is happening on the five on a regular basis. Next slide, please. And before we move into that Q&A section, we would really appreciate your feedback. So please take a moment to scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link provided to let us know how you heard tonight's meeting. So this information is really helpful to help us improve our outreach efforts and better understand how to continue reaching Santa Clarita and the Northern County communities effectively. So thank you guys again for joining us tonight and staying engaged throughout construction. And with we're going to transition into that Q&A portion. I'll pass it back to Chloe.
Thank you. So as a reminder, the Q&A feature is at the bottom of your screen. We did get a couple of, actually we have 4 questions total. I've answered 2 in the Q&A feature, but I'll answer the other 2 live now. The first question was one of the attendees asking if we could share our project drawing. They were referring to our project map. So what I did is I referred them to our project website. That's where our map is, and you can see the alignment there. It's 14-mile stretch. You can see where the sound wall segments are, all of that good stuff. So I've also included that in to the chat box if you'd like to visit the website for more information and our project map. Another attendee shared with us that they are planning a conference that will be held between Magic Mountain Parkway and McBean Parkway in the last weekend of July, and they would like to know the best way for them and the public to find out the latest closures during that time. The best way is to again visit our project website. We specifically have a construction notice webpage on our site. And that stays up to date, and it will give you all of the current closures that our project is enforcing. Specifically for Magic Mountain Parkway on and off ramps, we do enforce closures when needed Monday through Friday and Saturdays as needed from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. during the day and or from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. The other question we got, or this is a comment, if only trucks would adhere to the 55-mile speed limit, it would be much safer. So yes, of course, we cannot control what others do, but you are more than welcome to report any type of speeding to us or to CHP. So that way we can make sure that if it's happening in certain areas specifically, we can have CHP. They're a partner, obviously, so we can work with them to put their officers on the road for us and make sure that people adhere to that speed limit. The next one is, does Metro do anything in person regarding this project? Looking forward to your August meeting. If you're referring to our meetings, we don't have any in-person community meetings planned for the rest of the project, but that could change. You'll definitely know that if you sign up for our email newsletter. We'll let you know if there's going to be a physical place to join. However, Soraya and I from time to time do join some of the farmers markets that take place in Newhall and Canyon Country. It's been a while, but sometimes you'll see us out there giving out information when there's a big closure as well. Okay, that's all I'm seeing so far. So I just want to make sure to give a quick reminder that you can utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen to ask your question. Okay, we've got another one. When will the landscape be completed on the Hasley side? If you're referring to the sound wall segment, Soroya, I'm going to pass this to you because I think you recently answered this for someone, didn't you?
So we're not doing, sorry. Let me turn my camera on. So we're not doing any additional landscaping outside of what was already in place. So I believe that was like erosion control seeds. They're going to be placed in the area. So nothing out of what was already there in place, but that's going to be done towards the ending of the project. So you'll see that or putting in any landscaping that's going to be done towards, like I said, that spring of 2027 area time frame.
So this attendee just responded again and said the fencing needs to be removed, and I do think we have that planned for the ending of the project as well, right?
As well. Yes.
So the fencing will be removed. Hang in there if you're a resident in that area. It is going to be removed, and we've been actively working on cleaning that area as well. K-rail has been removed as of late, so hang in there, and the fencing will be removed.
And I was gonna say, there's an attendee with a hand up. So attendees are muted. So if you would like to type in your question, we'll be able to answer it. But unfortunately, we're unable to unmute attendees. So that attendee that has their hand up, just type in your question, and then Chloe will facilitate that.
While we are waiting for that to possibly come in, Renee, would you mind going back to where we had our project map? I think it's all the way in the beginning, just to show, just in case anyone wanted to see it before we close out the meeting. And then we'll go back to our contact. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the questions so far. As a reminder, the Q&A feature is at the bottom of the screen. You can click on that and then type your question to us. I do want to leave the project map up just for a couple of seconds for the attendee that was asking for it. But for the attendee that did have their hand raised, just in a few moments, I will have Renee go back to our contact slide. Just in case you're having trouble submitting your question, you are more than welcome to reach out to myself or Soroya with the question or comment that you had, just in case we're not able to catch it while we're on now. But as of now, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. Renee, if you would please go back to our contact slide for the attendee. That amazing. Lightning speed over here. Okay, so yeah, as a reminder, Soroya's contact information is here along with mine and our project hotline, email, and website. So if you need to ask any questions, send us any comments, reach out to us at any time, you are more than welcome to. You can reach us here. Okay, we can give it a couple of more seconds, but it looks like we haven't gotten any questions coming in. So I'll pass it back to you in the meantime, Soroya. You can maybe close us out.
Yes. So again, we do appreciate you guys taking time to spend your evening with us and hearing about all of the amazing things that are happening on the I-5 North County Enhancement Project. Again, like Chloe said, if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, please feel free to reach out to myself, reach out to Chloe, our project hotline, or email. And definitely, if you're not a part of our email distribution list, please sign up or join our Northern County Facebook group, where you'll get information not only about the I-5, but all of the wonderful projects that are happening out here in the Northern County. And if that looks like we're not getting any other questions, but if we don't have any questions, I'm going to close the meeting. And again, just thank you guys for joining us tonight. We do appreciate your attendance, and we do appreciate your support and your continued patience as we get towards the ending of this project. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all.